night in RTA is one of the rare occasions where we are going oval racing, something I quite enjoy, but I know there isn't a lot of people in RTA who do like just turning left for 10, 15 and 20 minutes. But it is a unique skill set to try and be fast and get passes done, so it's nice to change it up every now and again. Luckily that means no rain like the downpour we had in Miami, which after that round, thanks to not a lot of other drivers taking part, we've moved up into 15th place in the standings. Still very close between a lot of drivers down around this part of the championship, and hopefully results here today in Phoenix can see me move up even more. So with that, let's head into qualifying at the oval. So qualifying around here is definitely interesting. Pretty much unlimited laps in the 15-minute session that we have, with the lap only being around 22 seconds. And I was really struggling through this session. There's a lot of talk about being able to be flat out through all the turns, and I just felt like I wasn't able to be flat out for most of my laps. Luckily on this one, which was my best one, I managed to keep a pin for the full 22.6 seconds, which put me in P17 for race 1, which isn't great. I was expecting to be a bit higher up, maybe in the top 10, just because I feel like I'm not too bad on the ovals, but it is what it is, and it's definitely going to be tricky, mainly just staying out of trouble on lap 1, but that's all I have to do here in race 1. So as we get ready to go, thankfully we have a rolling start here on the oval.
Okay, Ken, stay calm.
We tried to do a standing start around here. Complete chaos, but either way, we go green here in Phoenix for race 1. Into the first turn, taking it nice and easy. Tires still not fully up to temperature.
Oh, shite!
Oh, what the fuck? That's what I was saying, the tires not fully up to temperature, so not the optimal grip that we had just had in qualifying. Not sure what happened up ahead, but a big crash. Luckily we managed to avoid it as we end lap 1. Behind Campo, and we're up 5 places for where I start in P12. So surviving lap 1 was definitely going to be the hardest thing to do. We've managed to do that. Now we have to just settle in to see if we can make any more places for the rest of this 10-minute race. Skipping ahead to lap 3, not sure what's happened up ahead. We managed to get past Rory O'Shea, who's going a bit slowly on the outside. We have Simon and Tony now just ahead of Campbell. Not sure if they were involved with whatever happened to Rory there. We have a little group of 4 now, and we try and go around the outside of Campbell in turn 1 and turn 2. We get a good run, hoping we'll get the slipstream off Simon. We just about get on the entry into turn 3, but just turn in a bit too late there. Try and go for a cutback on Campo, get a run on the pitch straight heading into turn 1, but he has the outside right. Not too confident on the inside just yet in this race, and he holds on to the position for the time being. Skipping ahead to lap 7 then, still behind Campo, still just trying to figure out what the strategy is here, trying to figure out how to get a pass done. We have a good run heading into turn 3, but just going a bit too wide, getting the line wrong, and we drop back a bit. But that is kind of what my plan was to get past here, especially in turn 3 and turn 4, was to take a bit of a wider line, get some air on the front wing, get on the power earlier than the cars in front, Campo in this case, and just kind of do a bit of a switchback almost and hold that turns to the inside for turn 1. Kind of see what I'm trying to do there, not really working just yet, still trying to get the hang of it. And in turn 1, turning in early, everyone else was turning in a bit later, and it meant that there was a lane and a half on the bottom that I could get some air on my wing. Again, try and get on the power earlier and put myself in a position to be close into turn 3 and turn 4, and then make a move in turn 1 and 2. I've been able to do it just yet, still trying to work my way on Campo. Skipping ahead on to the start of lap 13 then, and this was probably the first lap where the car started to understeer a bit. The tyres really start to heat up here and wear out, and something that we'll have to keep an eye on throughout this race and in the later longer races. And right on cue we have Connor.
The tyre fall off is fucking bananas.
Isn't it, man?
Like 2.5 down. What the fuck?
Connor there repeating the same sentiment that I just had about the tyres, about how much they wear. It really does change how you have to drive, and that's where maybe having a bit more experience will start to pay dividends. On to lap 19 now, still behind Campbell, now still in 11th place. On the exit of turn 2 into turn 3 we get a good run, and this is what I was talking about earlier in the race. Just trying to turn in a little bit later, get some clean air on the wings, then do a bit of a switchback I suppose, to get air back on the wing and get on the power as early as I can, get a good exit. We are close into turn 1. Remain close on the exit of turn 2 and into turn 3. We're right on Campbell's rear wing. This time I don't know if Campbell just didn't go as wide on the exit of turn 4 or if I didn't switch back as much as I was really needed to, but he managed to hold on and defend that pretty well. And look in the mirror, this fighting has allowed Kevin Joyce to catch right up to us. So now not only do I have to try and focus on trying to make a move on Campbell, I have to worry about not leaving the door open for Kevin to stick his nose into and get past as well. So it does make it a lot more difficult, but still a fun racing all the same. Not too close into turn 1 this time, but we get a good exit out of turn 2 into turn 3. Again, getting that lane on the bottom of clean air. We get a good run on Campbell, pull to the inside, and we just about have an overlap into turn 1 on the inside. We go as deep as it can, making sure to leave space on the exit for Campbell. But unfortunately for him, I think he just drifts a bit too wide, carried a bit too much speed and hit the wall a bit. Thankfully it meant I was able to get through and just took it around then to the end of the race to finish in P10. So up 7 places from where I started. Obviously most of those being from other people having crashes, particularly on lap 1, but did get one overtake on track, that one on Campbell, and did move up the most places of anyone in the top 20, which is I suppose something to be happy with, and more importantly it means that I'm going to start up a lot higher on the grid, starting from P10 in race 2. So starting race 2, once you just look to the left hand side and the gap that there is or was being left there, and that means that as we go green, all the cars on the left hand side were able to just get a jump really, which isn't really what you want to be doing in over racing. Usually you keep it nice and tight and everybody starts at the same time, you don't drop back so you can get a run on the other people in the other lane. It is what it is. We've dropped back to P11. Kevin getting past us with that bit of a jump at the start. Luckily on the first lap this time everyone kept it nice and clean in front of me anyway. Through turn 1 though, Kevin pretty unceremoniously running Simon Hutchinson up high on the exit, and of course Simon had to completely back out of that, allowing myself and Campbell to get through and back up to where we started into 10th place because of that. And already in this race really my plan of action was to just kind of try and settle into a rhythm and try and save the tyres. Nothing major really, just try and save them a little bit so we would have a bit of an advantage come the latter stages of this one. So on lap 7 you can see we're after dropping back a bit from Kevin ahead, not too far back, a little bit, just so we have some clean air and we're not getting too affected by the dirty air. But that is allowing Campbell to try and have a go at us. He had a look up the inside of turn 1, but I decided to push on a little bit from what I was doing just to hold on to that position. Move on then, lap 11, about 10 minutes left in this race, and we now have Tony Griffin, and in the mirror behind me have Cathal Cochran, who isn't doing this tyre saving, it looks like not doing anything like that. Sends it around the outside of turn 3 and turn 4, great move by him there. Has the outside line for turn 1, I try and fight it because I want to try and hold on to position. I just get a load of understeer there. Understeer drift up high, and yeah, just had to completely back out of it. Means I lose the pace to call it allowed Simon to get back past through as well, drop down a couple of places from that. A few laps later then, still sticking to my strategy of trying to tyre save for the time being. Run wide there, bit of a lapse of concentration in turn 4. That let Campbell have a run heading into turn 1, and then I just went in a bit too deep, not lifting early enough for what the tyres are giving me at the moment. Campbell was able to get a good run through turn 1 and 2, get our overlap heading into turn 3. As we start the next lap, we lost that place to Campbell. There was a crash there on the main straight. I'm not sure who was involved, but we do gain, I think, 1 place because of that. A few minutes later, we have Adam Downey, who came out of the pits just ahead of us. I think that was Tony Griffin, who was just tapped in the rear, sent into the wall, so we get position on him into turn 1. We had an overlap on Adam, and he did say in the Discord chat that he was going to let me through, so fair play to him there. There wasn't really any point in him fighting that when it wasn't for position. Just over 5 minutes left then in this one, and we are in a familiar position, tucked up behind Campbell Chuckwood's rear wing. We have Darragh O'Connor looking racy behind me as well at this point of the race. I done the tyre saving that I wanted to do, and now it was time to use the extra grip that I have. Through turn 1 and 2 we get a good run on Campbell, who understeered a little bit, and we have a lot of practice of trying to get past Campbell from race 1. Going in a little bit wide, turn 3, getting a good exit out of 4, and we use the slipstream down into turn 1, turning in early, getting that air on the front wing and on the high line. Campbell just goes a bit wide. I think he touches the wall there. Luckily he doesn't bounce too aggressively into my line and doesn't hit me too much, but we used what we learned in race 1, and we're able to get past Campbell back up into 10th place. On the final lap then, skipping ahead, we did catch up a small bit to Simon. It was kind of, he'd gain a bit, I'd gain a bit. Wasn't the cleanest driving from myself for the last 5 minutes of this one. We eventually come across the line to finish in 10th place. So finished where I started, which, to be honest, not overly happy with. I feel like there definitely could have been more for me in that one when you look at Kevin Joyce there in 6th place, and he started pretty much alongside me. So disappointing not to get up into the top 8 to have a better starting position with the reverse grid for race 3, but we're able to have a good race from 10th in that race, and with 20 minutes ahead, tyres are going to be even more of a factor, and we'll see if our tyre saving strategy can help us out again.
Oh, we're going to start in banked.
So as we get ready to go here, you can see there's a big gap between the front row and the pace car, which isn't really the thing that you do on ovals.
It was a bit fucky there, Lee.
Get on off.
Middle of the field had a real hard time there, boys.
And as you hear there from Connor and Peter, that start wasn't the best, and I think it caused some chaos behind. Really, in over racing, you stay behind the safety car until it comes into the pits, and then you take over and the leader decides where to go. You don't really stay back and then go for a run while the front row is halfway through the final corner. But it is what it is. It's kind of what happens when a lot of the drivers don't have over racing experience. It happened in the over races in the main IndyCar series we did as well. It looks like it happened here again in the NXT.
Yes, the lads have been very aggressive for such early. 20 minutes, lads.
As you hear there, not 100% sure who that was on the radio, so if that was you, please comment down below and I'll know for future. But we saw there Campbell being very aggressive, making a move around the outside for P9. And now we have Dylan behind, who actually hit into the back of me there. Very lucky not to be sent for a spin into the wall on the exit of turn 4. But yeah, a lot of drivers being very aggressive, and just like my strategy was in race 2, going to try and tyre save in the beginning stages of this one. Trying being the operative word with that as we will come to see.
Still there.
After getting that tap from Dylan, I could tell that he isn't trying to tyre save, he is full push. I was just trying to let him pass in a way that would lose me the least amount of time. So leave the inside for him open in turn 1, run the high line, just let him through. Simon Hutchins also not doing any kind of conservative strategy, having a look up the inside through turn 3 and 4.
Still there.
That's what I mean by trying to do some tyre saving. I didn't want to save so much that I would be losing too many positions. I was okay with losing maybe 1 or 2 to Dylan as we saw. I didn't want to drop too far back because even if I do have a tyre advantage at the end of the race, we've seen how hard it can be to overtake, and I don't want to leave myself too much work to do in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. So it's all very close quarters here through turn 1 and 2. I make an overtake on Campbell, more so as I had to either overtake or be overtaken and move. And yeah, like I said, trying to tyre save, trying to do it are 2 separate things. We eventually fall kind of back into the line. Campbell having a look up the inside, but we hold on. Now behind Conor Mealy, who is also doing the same strategy as me, trying to do some tyre saving. Conor have a good bit of experience at the over racing as well, so I was happy enough where I was for now, as Rory O'Shea has a look around the outside of turn 1. I have to leave room on the exit of turn 2. And this was another one where I kind of wanted to try and fight it to hold position, while also trying to save some tyres. So around turn 3 and turn 4, he still has his nose alongside into turn 1. He's going to carry more speed around the outside, gets that move done, and use that position. So yeah, I was behind Conor there. I think I'm going to be behind Conor fairly shortly again when Rory gets past.
15 minutes left.
I was okay with where I was behind him, and just seeing if
Oh no, this is the way.
Yeah.
just seeing if we could work together to save our tyres. You can hear there Jean also trying to save, or at least that's what I got from that message. Himself and Conor saying this is the way to do it, to try and conserve the rubber for the later stages of this race. Through turn 3 and turn 4, Simon having a look down the inside. Again, this is a position I kind of wanted to keep, so pushing harder than I would ideally want to, use it up a bit more of the tyre's life than would be ideal, but track position more important at this stage. Simon still trying to get this position though. You can see in the rear view there, he gets a good run through turn 4, but he's not close enough into turn 1. Hold on for now. Get a good run on Conor out of that corner actually. I'm not close enough to try and make a move if I wanted to, which, like I mentioned, I don't. But like I said earlier in this race when I made the move on Campbell, it's almost a case of pass or be passed. And backing out of getting too close to the rear end of Conor's car on that occasion meant I came under pressure from Simon heading into turn 1 and turn 2. And had to push a bit more again to stay ahead. Into turn 3, I turned in a bit too late there, left the inside line open, and Simon, as we've seen, rare to try and get past him, puts his car up the inside, and finally for him, he says, gets that pass done. And it doesn't really change what I was thinking then. He got the pass done, and now just happy enough staying behind him and trying to save tyres. Well, as we skip ahead a small bit, getting very close to the rear end of Conor there, as Simon puts a move on him, and that was just me taking my line that I've been doing throughout this round, turning it a bit earlier for turn 1 to get a bit of clean air. Luckily we don't run into the rear end of Conor, who was making sure to leave room for Simon going around his outside. Skipping ahead a small bit then though, on the exit of turn 4, Simon runs a bit wide, bounces off the wall a long way back across the track. Conor had to take a avoiding action there. And through turn 2 on the exit, myself and Simon going side by side means Connor has a compromised run, so we get alongside him, and I decide that this is my chance. I'm going to start pushing here now, try and get this move done. But I kind of do what Simon did, just hit the wall on the outside of turn 4. I don't feel like I bounced as aggressively back across the track, but we managed to get
If you're
there.
gonna overdrive the fuck out of the car, lads, don't slam into the wall.
I can hear there Connor saying about people overdriving. To be honest, at this point I thought that was just solely aimed at me. Looking at the replay, I hadn't actually noticed how badly Simon hit the wall before that, as I hit the wall of turn 2 with the cap. But yeah, didn't feel like it came back across the track too much there on Connor. And I actually looked at the replay, and I think if he hadn't have moved, we still wouldn't have made contact. So I can understand why he's saying it though. If I was in his position, I'd be a bit pissed off as well.
In fairness, one thing I did not account in my strategy was, lads, when you're overtaking, slamming into the outside wall and then coming halfway across the track.
As you can hear there, Connor still not too happy about either mine or Simon's or both of our overtakes. As we finally get past Simon, get back past the hero and wide in turn 2, and just carry more momentum heading down into turn 3. But back to those comments made by Connor, don't know if they were if it was aimed at me, but obviously it's not ideal. If I was in his shoes, I'd probably be a bit upset about it as well, so I do apologise for that. But back to the race now. Jan just overtaken Sean on the exit of turn 2. I'm going to go for a move on Sean heading into turn 3. I felt very comfortable just keeping the throttle pinned around the outside of turn 3 and turn 4. Sean's been going pretty slow. I think he has some sort of damage to his car. So Jan has been stuck behind it for a couple of laps, meant I was able to catch up to the two of them and getting past Sean quickly like that just after Jan was very crucial to making sure that I could stick with him and seeing if I could make more races. In turn 1 there, Cahill being very nice to us, letting us go past as he was coming out of the pits after having some kind of a crash. And really appreciate that, not holding us up, and it means we can set our sights on Jan and Lee for P5. Jan got past Lee Gogan, not 100% sure when that happened, but it happened as we now go on to the final lap. And I think the tyre saving that we did earlier in this race is what has allowed us to catch up to Lee so much. Through turn 1 and 2, we don't get a good enough run heading into turn 3, or not as good as I would like. Try and go around the outside, not going to work. Try and do the switchback that I've been doing all round long on Campbell, but if Lee gets a good enough run, he is able to hold on and stay ahead, which means I finish race 3 in P7, which, happy enough with that result, to be honest. But when you look at Dylan and Rory up 15 and 17 places, and when they got past, it didn't look like they were saving any sort of tyres. Maybe I could have just fully sent it for this full race and got a better finishing position. But at the same time, if I'd fully pushed, maybe I could have ended up in the wall as well. So it's all about balance in these races, and overall pretty happy with that result. What that means for the standings after 4 rounds is that I move up 1 place into 14th. Still very close down around here, just 12 points separating myself in 14th with Dermot Toomey in 10th, and still all to play for with 4 rounds left to go. Next time out we are at Watkins Glen, a much different challenge than we had here today, but one I am certainly looking forward to. But until that one, thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you then.